Hey guys, hope you're all well. Right, Monday morning. I've been up quite early this morning. I've done the first quiet job. I made a bit of a wooden handle. That is going to be for the next oil pump lamp, which I'm in the process of doing as well. I'll probably put some of that on the other channel actually. I've sort of abandoned the other channel for a while because nothing outside the shed or different from bikes has really been going on. Not lots anyway. So I might do the oil pump lamp on the other channel. We'll see how that goes. But first, I'm going to crack on with the next job on the BM. So as I said in the last video, I'm going to make some sort of plate for this. I have ordered a mud flap. So hopefully that'll be here midweek, I guess. Who knows with the post just lately. So I'm going to make the steel bracket that blanks this gap off. I've said before, we don't want debris coming through and sort of filling this area here under the seat when I make that. So yeah, I'm going to get on with that and see how that goes. Then I'm going to attempt some frames through the week. I say frames, finishing the two that I've got going on. I think it'll be all right. Luckily, all the tube bending's done because I wouldn't have been able to do that. So I'm going to see how I go with them and get back up to sort of speed with them and get them gone. So hopefully it'll be a good week. Anyway, let's get on with that bracket. Blue's in, doing his daily check. Hello, mate. Come to see if there's any food, hey? We ain't got no treats up here today, mate. No, we haven't. All right, pal. There's a good boy. He's a good boy. Right. We've got to make a start. Yep. We've got to make a start. So, to start with then, Blue's helping. Bit of usual rusty old plate. I'm going to make the main bracket out of this, I think. Again, we're making it up as we go along, sort of. So the main bracket out of this, so it's got a bit of strength. Not sure what that is. Probably about 3 mil. So it'd be nice and strong. And then a little bit of a plate across from this to the mudguard of some thinner stuff. We'll see how that goes. So right, first the main bracket. So I'm going to trim this up so we've got a square piece and then go from there. What we've got is these fixing points here, to this side, to that side. I think if I bring some bits off this plate we're going to make that goes across here, then we'll bend the first bit of plate following this and down. I think that'll be nice and strong. Also, I've been trying to go through the comments, catching up with them. Someone said there were holes in the subframe. I'm not sure which ones he was on about. I think it's just some marks on the metal. I'm guessing that looks like a hole on camera. It actually does look like a hole looking at the back of the camera. No, it's just remnants of the old paint on the metal work. That's all that is. And like I say, there's no holes in any of it. It's just these ones at the end of each end of this tube that I've got to blank off. But no, these are not holes, if that's what someone was on about. I'm not sure. And also, I mean, it's a valid point. Someone said, why didn't I just weld all that? Because it is, at the end of the day, a rear subframe, as in this bit. I did think about that. Then I went against it because at the end of the day, it's gonna get used off-road quite a lot. Whether that'll be by me, I do not know at this point. or if the bike is sold someone else. And if it is crashed, which is highly likely, doing green laning and stuff like that, it'll more than likely bend, if it's going to have a heavy crash, this back end of the frame. And it's just easier unbolting this little bit and working on that to straighten it if it ever did happen. Because when the bike's all in one piece, with all the panels on, the tank on, there's quite a lot to do to get at that bit of frame, the original part. So my thinking was, if I make this bolt on and this end bit does get damaged, it'd be far easier to work on if needed. It may never bend, but that was my thinking. Anyway, back to the bracket. Some attention. What are you doing down there, mate? Oh, hello. Coming through. Oh, what's up? Hey, what's up, pal? All right. You're determined to go through there, aren't you? There we go. Don't give me a back scratch. I want a back scratch right now. Hey? Did you hear that, folks? That's how my friends talk to me.
Here you are.
But he brings milk.
Here you are. Here you are.
Okay, we'll let him off for his foul language. Okay, moving on to the following day. As you can see, I had a friend descend upon me. I wasn't expecting that. And then another one turned up, and then another one turned up. But I did make use of one of them by the end of the day as they started leaving. The bike is on the floor for the first time in months. How about that? Finally standing on its own two wheels. Yeah, it's looking all right, that is. Tool sits nice. Everything misses. Front wheel misses everything. All I've got to do with the front end is basically put some steering locks on to stop it hitting anything. But it misses the tank. So yeah, I am very, very pleased with all that. Anyway, back to the bracket. Where was we? So I've got it all sorted out. Got the radiuses in. It looks terrible at the moment, obviously, because it's rusty. Obviously, I'm not going to leave that on. But we are ready for the next stage. Let's get on with that. Right, over to the wobbly vice. And the folder with terrible magnets. see how that goes. Ooh. Right. Oh, that one's going more than that one. That's how wonky my voice is. Oh, we can soon correct that. Let's get that one out. Oh, there we go. Collapsing. Come on. That looks about right. Right, we're going to mark it up here and do another fold. That's marked up. So we might have to, oh, won't go that way. Might have to just try it a couple of times till we get it to where we want it. That looks about right. A bit more on that one, so it's not going at the same angle for some reason. Right, let me just try that. Well, it might be a bit too much actually. Let's try it. Oh, fingers crossed. It drops in nice. That's not too bad actually. Not too bad at all. Probably needs a tiny bit more of an angle on it. The trouble I've got. I might have to extend them tabs a little bit. Yeah, these holes here are so close to the end. I don't know if you can see that. Look how close these are to the very end. I'm not so keen on that. Which is going to put my hole in my bracket really close to the end of them tabs. Right, I'll figure something out there. Right, let's sort that out. So, got an extra piece. I'm going to leave it that size because it'll just make it easier for me to hold while I get it tacked up. Right, let's do that back edge. Right, that's not moving. Let's do that edge. That sorted it. That's a good hot weld. Now I'll trim it off and dress it up. Right, that's that one a bit longer. I'll get the other one done and then we'll try it again. Okay, that is fitting all right now. I've got it marked out, as you can see at the top there. I am just gonna get some measurements, some rough measurements with hole centers. With getting the distance with these. And hopefully we'll get them in about the right place. That's looking all right. Are they both the same? Always best to check. Yep. Right, let's get that one marked up. Right, we've got all that marked up. Hopefully this is going to work out. So we've done the hole centers that way and we've done the hole centers that way. All marked up. Hopefully that's going to be about right. Oh, I can do the holes slightly bigger anyway to give us a bit of wiggle room. These are tiny bolts. Are they 5mm? Maybe smaller. It's hard to see, there's a lot of muck down there. Anyway, let's get these holes done and then we'll try it with some fixings and then get on with the rest of it. Holes done. Hopefully it's gonna fit. And then we'll get on with the next bit when we've confirmed this. Well, that's 1. 2. So far so good. 3. Oh, there's always one, isn't there? Oh no, it's gone in. Yes. Well, that works. Right. What's next? I think we'll drill some more holes in it. So let's take this off a minute. Drill some holes in it before we go on to the next bit so it's easier to get at. So obviously this return bit is going to carry the mud flap, so I'm going to pop some holes across here, I don't know, 3 or 4, and when the mud flap comes that'll bolt to that bit there. Okay, we have holes drilled for when the mud flap comes. That should be enough. Probably far too many, but best to be safe. So next bit, let's drop that in there a minute. Next bit, we have got to close that gap off there. So I think I'm simply just going to cut a bit of plate that welds to the top end of this, and then we'll shape it so it just drops into the shape of the mudguard there. And then that'll do. You know, on this there's gaps everywhere where mud can get in. We're just going to sort of eliminate lots of mud and debris getting in there. So something really simple I think should do it. So we'll plot that out, may use a bit of card, and we'll get a piece cut. Right, just trying to think this through. I think it just needs something fairly simple. So I've cut another bit of plate. Well, literally, we just want to close the gap off a bit. Like I said earlier, you know, it's got gaps everywhere at the end of the day. We just want to shut the majority of it off. So I'm thinking perhaps a bit of plate down there. Then fold it back so it just follows the line of the frame there. I could probably chop that extra bit of mudguard off then with that there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to do that. That folded, welded onto the back there of this bracket we've just made, and that'll close it off. Let's have a go at that. Right, I've marked a line in this. My folder is definitely not going to deal with that, so I'm going to slice it part the way through and fold it and then just weld it up, rather than trying to fight that vice and folder getting that thickness round. To be honest, it doesn't need to be this thick, but hey ho, at least it'll be strong. That should do it. And we'll fold that, weld that up, and then start shaping this bit. Like I say, it's a bit overkill, but at least when we're out in the country lanes flicking up dinosaur bones, it's not going to bend this plate. All right, let's fold that up. We'll go bit by bit. I'm not quite sure the angle it's got to be yet. Let me just have a look at that. Okay, marked another line on there. I'm going to cut that off and just keep chipping away at it till I'm happy with how it fits. Right, moving on a little bit. I've just been messing about and trying different things out, and I have decided to go with just the curve that follows the mudguard as best as I can in that area. I think that'll be enough to shut that sort of gap off to stop majority of the debris just going under the seat basically. So I'm going to weld this fold up now. Then I'm going to pop some holes in this face, and then I'm just going to weld it onto the plate we've already made through the holes. Right, my apologies, we've on rubbish GoPro sound for a bit. My microphone went flat. Anyway, got all that tidied up. I got this marked out. I was gonna drill this through and weld it through the holes, but I've got to stop it. I've got to stop doing things like that. At the end of the day, you're not going to see this at all when it's on the bike. So I'm going to clamp it in place and just do some little runs of welds here and there to hold it on. And it's all going to be powder coated, so I don't think it makes no difference at all. Just try that on the bike, and then we'll get it welded up and then bolt it on. Right, quick try. I'm happy with that. One thing I have got to do to make things easier is take the mudguard off to fit this, but that obviously doesn't matter when you're building the bike back up, because you just make sure that goes on first. Welding mask, that one will do. There we go, sorted. Right, mudguard back on. Let's see how we're looking. Should should be all sorted now. Oh. Hopefully that'll be all good enough to stop the majority of any debris getting all under the seat and collecting. That seems to be okay. There we are. That shut that gap off. I think that should be okay. Certainly going to be strong enough. Yes, it might be a little bit overkill, but it's not going to break in a hurry. When I get the mud flap, I've just got to obviously cut that to size and then put some holes in that to line up with the holes I've drilled in the plate, and that should protect the shock. So another thing I'm going to do on this is, we can see we've got the plate there now. Obviously the mud flap will hang off that. I may even shorten that a little bit so we ain't got so much metal work there. I could probably shorten that up to sort of there. I'll be able to see when the mud flap comes. So I'll cut the mud flap literally probably to the shape of the air box, and then on the bottom of the mud flap, you see the bottom of the shock here. Let's move that out of the way if it'll go. On the bottom of the mud flap, I'm going to put another hole in it and some sort of probably large mudguard washers and a clip, so it clips to the bottom of the shock to stop it sort of going everywhere, stop it peeling up over the wheel or whatever, or constantly hitting the wheel and wearing out. So I'm going to put a clip, and I've got some stainless ones somewhere, very, very similar to this, that sort of thing. It should be strong enough just to hold the bottom of the mud flap down from, like I say, constantly hitting the wheel and wearing out. And that should solve all that and protect the shock. Well, it's another job done. Let's move this out of the way. And we are getting closer and closer to it looking like a full bike again. I've actually enjoyed making that little bracket. A nice simple job. And it's another one ticked off the list. Excellent. Anyway, that'll do for this video. Next I'm actually going to get on with some frames, but we'll still try and keep the little jobs going on the GS. I'm going to see how I go with the frames. I should be okay. The only thing I'm going to struggle with them, the frames have to come in and out the jigs a couple of times, and it can be quite tough pulling the damn things out the jig. But we'll see how we go. I should be okay. It's all getting better day by day, getting back up to speed, which is the main thing. So yeah, that'll do. Cheers for watching, guys. Take care.